All right, some more stuff to add to our data and statistics unit. This unit overall has a lot of kind of different little topics to it, different little things we got to know how to do. So for today, we got to work with standard deviation. Y'all have done mean absolute deviation. Kind of similar, not exactly. There are two types of standard deviation. There is the population standard deviation, which means like you have all the possible data. And then there's sample, which means you have like a piece of the data. All right, for our Math 1 class, we're going to work with sample. All right. So this is how you find standard deviation. Mathematically, this is what you do. Clear as can be, right? All right, so we don't have to actually have it look like that. The steps. First step, you find the mean of all the data. Easy enough. Then you subtract the mean from each data point. You remember how with like residuals we did, the actual minus the predicted? Kind of same idea, except it's the actual minus the mean this time. Then each of those differences, you have to square them. So like, if the mean was 4 and you had 5, you do 5 minus 4, and then you got to square it. It'd still be 1, but Then you add all those squared differences together, divide by the sum of points minus 1. So that's 1 less than however many pieces of data you have. And then you take the square root of that. Easy enough? Everybody got it? No? All right, so there are two options to this. The calculator does all the work. All right, option 1, on the yellow calculators, you do stat, edit, put your data into L1, then you do stat calc, and it's one variable stats, and when you do the one variable stats, you have like a capital S followed by an X. That is the standard deviation. On Desmos, you could either type in STDV in the parentheses, or you can click the little keyboard button, and under functions, when that shows up, the STDEV parentheses is one of the options, and then you put your data in separated by commas. Either way gets you the standard deviation. Is one way better than the other? Not necessarily. To enter it into L1, to me, takes about the same time to type in the standard deviation for Desmos. I would probably use the yellow calculators. The reason I would probably use the yellow calculators is some things ask you for more than just the standard deviation. And if you're used to doing on the yellow calculators, when you do the one variable stats, you have the mean, you have the median, you have all that stuff right there. Right? So it saves you a little extra that way. But either one works. Any questions on this part? Aren't you glad you don't have to do all this? Right? All right, so go ahead, find the standard deviation either way for the set of temperatures there. In almost every case, you are going to get decimals that keep going without repeating. Remember, that last step was to take the square root, right? And unless it's like a perfect square, which would almost be impossible with this, you're going to have that decimal. For this, we probably want to go to 2 decimal spots usually on the answer choices. Oliver, what you got? 14.96 is correct. So whether you did it on Desmos or, if you did it on Desmos, basically all you have to enter in is like all that. You don't even really need the closed parentheses at the end, and that would give you 14.96 and some more stuff. Calculator, same idea, you get that 14.96. So SX, like that, the capital S with the lowercase x, that is your standard deviation for a sample population or a sample size. For the population one, which like I said, we don't have to do, that's what the next thing below that on the calculators is. What you have there, that symbol is a sigma and then an x. So sigma x is the population standard deviation. But like I said, we want to use the SX one. All right, so here's another way you can kind of look at these. We got to compare. Math 1, we got to compare a lot, different places. On problems where you have to do it more than once, because sometimes you even have to compare up to 4 things, Desmos does probably go a little quicker with those. All right, who thinks they have the answer? Noah? No? Evelyn? C is correct. All right, so your standard deviation for store X was about 0.64, right? Store Y, about 0.67. Store X is less. When you subtract those, that's 0.03, not the 0.3. Any questions on that? With the calculators, if you enter these in at the same time, like L1, L2, and then you do the 2 variable stats, we can have the standard deviation of x, and you can get the standard deviation of y. And that will give you those same numbers. It's just, like I said, it saves a little bit of time. It only works when there's two of them that way. You know, if you have just one, you want to do one variable stats. If you have more than two, you're kind of out of luck doing it quickly like that. You got to do it more than once. Any questions? Ain't so bad, right?